Chuck, this is an interesting question. Jeannie sent us an email. She says she sold a number of her properties in recent years, received the checks from the closing, several or more closing attorneys, some of which were out of state. So I guess there's properties in other states. And she put those checks into a jar. She was told by a dear friend of hers that she needs to deposit those checks ASAP, but she's not quite sure about that. So the checks are sitting, and they could be a number of years old, and she doesn't know what she should be doing. And I thought we'd pass it over to you. What should Jeannie and anybody else who's got checks sitting in a jar of some sort do?
Uh, Honestly, I
Yeah.
would get back with the company that issued the check and say, "Hey, I need this check reissued." Now you've got certain issues going on here. After 3 years, those checks are supposed to be escheated to the state.
What does that mean? So wait, we'll back up. A sheet.
Okay, if I have an escrow account, if you leave money in that escrow account over a particular period of time, we have to send out letters to those folks saying, "Hey, you need to do something with this check, or I'm going to send all that money to the state." And then the state puts it in that. You've seen it when you go to the state fair. Oh, look up your name and see if you're owed money. The state gets to hold it. So if it's over 3 years, she might not be able to get them to write her that check. Money might already be with the state, and then she would have to go to the state and prove who she was, that it was her money, and then get it from them. If it's under that time frame, just contact the company that wrote the check and say, "Oh, hey, never deposited it. Go ahead and let's do that." Now, if it's an attorney's escrow account,
Yeah.
the money had darn well better still be there. And honestly, if I wrote a check out to someone for closing proceeds and it's not cashed within, generally 60 days.
Yeah.
The guys that audit my books, we have our books audited, a quick audit every day, and every 30 days, a more incisive audit. They will send me all manner of nasty grams saying, "Hey, you need to get this person to cash that check." You just can't leave money hanging out there with an attorney's escrow account. It really can get ugly. With that being said, I have had people try and or have issues. "Oh, hey, we put the check in the folder and we forgot about it." They'll call me up, a couple 3 months later and say, "What do we do?" I say, "Well, come on by and I'll rewrite the check out to you."
Can she not just deposit the checks in a
Nope.
checking
It depends
account?
on the age. It depends on the age. And it depends on the bank. Some banks won't let you deposit checks that are over a particular period of time. I'm pretty sure any check that I write, you can do that with, as long as the bank account is still open. Because if you're hanging on to it for years, you also have to take into account the fact that people can also change banks. You know,
So
there's
so it could be closed out.
yeah.
What about the possibility these days of the bank that the check was written on going belly up, or the closing attorney going belly up?
Well, the banks going belly up. There, to my knowledge, there aren't any banks that have just gone flat out. They're always purchased by another bank. So all the deposits, all the whatever, move on to the new bank, like you've seen here in the last couple of months. There's another bank that has purchased that bank. Okay. So those accounts are still out there. But with an attorney's escrow account, the money will either be there or there's an issue. Because I can't take money out of my account for my own benefit. I can't just say, "Oh, hey, they haven't cashed the check, now it's mine." That's not how that works. But there is always the possibility over 3 years that it's been escheated to the state.
Got it. All right. And folks, if this sounds familiar, you may want to talk to your relatives, parents, grandparents, because it's common, I think, with some folks. They get a check, they don't think anything more about it. They put it in a drawer or a jar, and then they forget about it. And so you may want to check, right? Isn't that the case?
Yeah, I will say that it doesn't happen that often.
Yeah.
But if it goes over 30 days, I get the letter and I'm calling people saying, "Hey, I wrote you a check. You haven't deposited it yet." Usually it's the smaller ones. People stick it in their wallet and forget about it.
Yeah.
But I've still got, I had to track down a real estate company the other day to have them deposit a commission check that was several months old. And I had called them, and each time they say, "Oh, yeah, we'll deposit it. We'll deposit it." And it never got deposited.
Never.
Finally did. But you know, we follow up with that sort of thing. So,
Yep.
you know, but you just don't leave checks in a jar.
Got it.